Welcome to the weekend. We got some more Apple news. Welcome back to the channel. So if you're new here, what do we do here, right? On the weekend, I have a beer, you have a cappuccino or whatever you're drinking. We sit back and relax and we go through about 20 or 25 different Apple stories. Have fun with them. I kind of give a cynical view on them just to kind of mix things up. Sit back and relax. Let's get into it right now. The Apple news. All right, so what do I have today? Today I'm drinking the Kona from Kona Brewing Company, the Longboard Island Lager right here, and I'll show you a close-up of it. Quick backstory. I was in Hawaii sitting on I'm going to show you some pictures, this exact bar right here, right on the beach. Beautiful beach, one of the most beautiful beaches, I think, in the world. And I tried this for the first time, fell in love with it. It's super light, super crisp. Anyways, I know you might be drinking a cappuccino, a coffee, a Diet Coke, whatever you want. Sit back, relax. I'm drinking this. It's the weekend, and we're going to go through 25, I don't know, whatever it is, stories about Apple. Let's get into it. All right, story number one, and this is my generation, I think. This is how I think of things, and I'm sure people my generation do as well. Here we go. It says 3 VR game staples have arrived on Apple Vision Pro. So what are they, right? This is for the younger generation. Now, you got to tell me, help me with this. I just do not understand this. So the first game down here, it's called Job Simulator, all right? So the young people, they don't want to get a job, but they want to do a job simulator. You can see it right here. It says, which came out in 2016. They kind of ported it over to the Vision Pro. So you don't have to work. If you don't want to work, you're going to do a job simulator that actually is going to simulate work. What is the use if you're not getting paid and you're actually paying the company? All right. And then to make things worse, I'm going to go to the second page over here. To make things even worse, if I click on this, the second game they're coming out with is Vacation Simulator. So not only can you work your job simulator on the computer, you can do your vacation simulator on the computer as well. You never have to leave the house, right? What's going on with this world? I swear to God, is it just me? Am I just an older generation? I know people are going to say they like the game and stuff, but come on. I need to take a sip of this. This drives me insane. Play a game that's fun. Why do you want to work or take a fake vacation? For story number 2, it's more based on AI here, and I promise there's only like 2 AI stories in this week's news. Here we go. Apple and OpenAI allegedly reached deal to bring ChatGPT functionality to iOS 18. And this is not kind of what Apple wanted to do. I don't think they really wanted to do this. It says, perhaps against the wishes of Apple's AI chief, right here, Apple and OpenAI have reportedly reached a deal that will bring ChatGPT to iOS 18 and other operating systems in 2024. Apple wants to bring its AI platforms, but it's focused on privacy preserving, which is good, on-device models and not large language models used by its competitors. So the company has been seeking a partnership with Google or Microsoft to bring their LLMs to iPhone. So it looks like they're really kind of focusing on the privacy. I know that they're going to maybe move some stuff. They want to do most of it on the phone or on the device, but they're going to have to move some of it off no matter what. But they were working on a way to protect the data when using these kind of third parties as far as the AI kind of generation here. So you tell me, is this a good news or bad news? I think Apple will eventually come out maybe with their complete own model. It may not just be fully baked in yet. We're going to find out maybe in about 10 days. Just wanted to kind of give you the news on this one. And then the last AI story of this kind of week, and then I'll get into some other fun stories. This says all of Apple's AI features we're expecting to be announced in iOS 18. This is from 9to5Mac. Of course, this is kind of misleading because this is not actually true. There's probably a lot more of them. But down here it says 2024, the year of generative AI features for Apple. We'll see if that's true. But basically it's saying, it's right here, a smarter way to Siri. It's saying specifics we're expecting that you would actually see include smarter understanding of what you want Siri to do. That's going to be a great thing because it doesn't understand me right now. Spoken answers to questions instead of just showing web links. That's actually good. Awareness of your contacts, appointments, locations, and so on for smarter responses. That's okay, but again, security concerns here. Ability to summarize everything from notifications and messages to lengthy documents. Good, but who's summarizing it and where's that coming from? Ability to interact with your apps, basically that's something that we're looking for, and string multiple commands together. They're saying that may not come initially, but it might come in a couple versions later. We'll see. If you kind of go down here, it says AI photo editing capabilities as well. So a new cleanup feature will allow users to remove objects. And we see that in a lot of different things right now, obviously, and I think they already have some of this, but it's going to be a little bit better with this AI generative software. And then, obviously, for example, a user can simply say, make the sky more blue. You can do stuff like that, or identify this. You can draw around the sky here, and it says you can make it 20% less saturated. It'll do that for you as well. So overall, that's not huge. Custom emojis, I mean, should we really be should we really be excited about that? I guess, it says right here, one standout feature is to bring basically these emojis. The company's developing software that can create custom emojis based on what you ask for. I don't know if that's good or bad. We'll see what we get there. And then it says other possibilities, smarter spotlight searches. We definitely need that, right? Assisted coding and Xcode, AI assisted coding. That's good news, I guess, unless you're a developer, because it's going to probably take your job eventually. And then AI powered health and fitness coaching. Again, I'm an adult, I can figure that out, but it's not, I guess it's not bad for a lot of people. And then AI enhanced journaling. They have that journaling app. They're going to be doing a lot with that as well. So again, these are things that are coming. It's not all of them, obviously. We know that Siri is going to be the big one they're working on, but it looks like ChatGPT could be involved in this. So we'll have to see how the security is. If you haven't watched my video, my last video, definitely watch it. It was about the recall feature in Copilot. I'll put the thing right here. It is a great video, I think. I think it was one of my best because I made a lot of tongue-in-cheek jokes in there and stuff, but it didn't get a lot of views because it's not really Mac related. But check it out because it's a really creepy feature that we do not want with Apple. So check that video out and tell me if you want us to have the same thing on Apple or not. I think it's a bad feature, recall on Copilot, but I hope Apple doesn't do this as well. All right, it could be a while before the M4 Airs come out, so maybe you can get an M3 Air, but I actually recommend the one I have sitting right here. If you look at my screen, this is the M2 Air right here, 15-inch, $13.99, but here you get actually, let me see here, if I can find it, you get 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gigabyte SSD, just like the one I have sitting right here. I can do all my editing on this. I have a bunch of videos. Check out my channel on the performance of this one. So if you're looking for a pretty good computer for about $13.99, 15-inch, with the extra RAM, with the extra disk space, this is still probably your best option. Right now it's on B&H right here. It says checkout will be available. It's going to be kind of coming to an end soon, so if you want this, definitely jump on it. All right, this next article, actually, give me a second here. I'm still thinking about that vacation and the job simulator, so I got to take another sip. I mean, what's wrong with people? You tell me. Post in the comments. I know I'll probably get some hate here, but post in the comments. There's something wrong with it, I think. Anyways, the next article is from 9to5Mac as well. It says, Apple not yet satisfied with iPhone 16 Pro Max screens. The rest enter production. The reason I thought this was interesting is because let's say you get a new Apple 16, right, coming up here. Whether you get different versions of it, you're going to have completely different screens by completely different manufacturers. And isn't that kind of crazy? You would think they'd be very similar. If you look down here, it says Samsung will make the displays for all iPhone 16 models. LG will make the displays for iPhone 16 Pro and Max. And BOE, I'm not sure who they are, will make displays for the iPhone 16 and the iPhone 16 Plus. But I guess it's LG. So it says Apple's basically happy with all the screens except the Max, which is made by LG here, so the Pro Max right there. And so for some reason, they don't like that screen. But I just thought it was interesting that on all three of those, or whatever, 6 models and stuff, if you have one and your wife has one or something, they could be completely different manufacturers of screens or different kind of quality of screens from different places. And actually the same iPhone. Different model, of course. But anyways, I thought it was interesting. I don't know. I hope you guys do too. All right, so this next one is kind of a crazy idea, and I think it's coming pretty soon here. So you tell me if you'd even use this. I think it's kind of another crazy thing that we don't need, but who knows? It says right here, new iPod-like device turns a strapless Apple Watch into a clickable wheel phone. You can see the picture here, and I'll show you. Actually, let me just go here. I'm going to click on this right here. So it's going to take a second. Look at this thing. You can see it right here. This is the company right here. It says down here, coming this summer. So I think it's being made. If you could imagine, though, what they're saying on the article is this thing, basically, you pop off your watch, your Apple Watch, and you throw it in this thing, and it becomes like a, one of the old iPods or whatever you want to call it, where you can do your music and stuff. But it also then, since the watch is in there, it's actually got the phone capability in there. It's got a whole bunch of other things. You can actually make calls in this little thing. They're saying that it's basically, you carry it with you to kind of get off your phone addiction because you don't have the big screen and stuff and you can't constantly be searching it, but you still get the phone access. I mean, is it a good idea? It depends on how much it is. There's like really nothing else you can click on this whole screen here, which is totally crazy. But would you use something like this? I mean, if it was like $50 or something or $100, maybe. Who knows? We'll see. But I mean, why would you want a worse phone in your pocket? I mean, the addiction part might be. But beyond that, I don't know why you'd want something worse than what you got in your pocket and pay more. You tell me. Okay, here I am on my soapbox again. My cynical approach to everything. Here's a good news story, but it's actually a bad news story, and I'll tell you why. Take a look here. So it says Apple AirTag, crucial to recovery of $5 million in stolen tools from a Metro DC. You can see the picture right here. They got all these tools in here. So after getting fed up with the overnight theft of his tools, a Northern Virginia carpenter planted AirTags, all right, on his tools. He finally did it. Twice, an unnamed carpenter wrote that he was robbed before this, twice. If it was me, right, first of all, I wouldn't put AirTags on him. I'd put either like a silent pit bull in there or a Rottweiler or something so that it could attack the people stealing my stuff. That's me, but this guy's a little bit different. He put the AirTags in there. Okay, that's fine. So anyways, he planted them, and the cops actually, he followed them and says they recovered approximately 15,000 stolen construction tools totaling $3 to $5 million. So he did crack the case. He didn't do it himself. He contacted the police. They went and got all the stuff. Now, that's great news, right? It's being used totally correct and stuff. But in America, here's the rub on everything. And this is my cynical approach to it and why there's a problem with everything here. If you go down here, take a look at this. I scroll all the way down here and I have this highlighted right here. To date, none of the thieves have been arrested. The police department says that they are looking into several suspects and they expect charges soon. So even if they get arrested, they'll probably get like a day in jail or something after stealing $3 to $5 million of stuff. And that's why in some cases, especially here, they're making it so that crime pays, and that's not a good thing. You tell me if I'm right or wrong. I think I'm right. Okay, so I lied a little bit. There is one more AI thing here, and there might be one more. I don't know. But this is from Meta, so it's a little bit different, right? Here it is from 9 to 5 Mac. Meta is using your data to train AI models. Europeans can opt out. Hear me, this is going to get you upset. It says if you use Instagram or Facebook or even Meta, it's using your data to train its AI models. The company uses your posts, to training materials on its generative AI. It's pulling your information out. It's saying that we may not know this except for, basically Europe. I mean, Europe forces companies to disclose the way that they acquire process and all that kind of. They have additional things in place that annoys a lot of people. But here they actually caught them doing it. And we probably wouldn't have known it if it wasn't for Europe's kind of really strict methods there. It says it right in here. But down here, let's just see here. It's really crazy because they're saying that, Meta came back and said, oh, you can opt out of this, right? It's very, we give you the option of opting out if we don't want you to collect our data, right? But then down here, it says Meta's sketchy wording. Let me actually scroll up here. It says the company's email said that we can remove your data from its AI training if your objection is honored, suggesting that it is not automatic. So basically, if they honor your suggestion of removing the data that they're stealing from you, they might do it, but it's not guaranteed. And it's in their, I looked through the document and stuff, they showed it on here as well. It's kind of in their terms and stuff that they don't actually have to do it. So long story short, you tell me, maybe you should stop using Facebook, Instagram. I don't even use them, to tell you the truth. I probably should with my channel. I just can't stand them, but you guys should probably stop too. Okay, so happy Saturday. You probably are watching this on a Monday, so it doesn't really matter. All right, so the next thing here, and this just shocked me a little bit, 9 to 5 Mac. Best reviewed Apple TV series ever getting a new season. What is it? Do you guys know about this? So I looked into here. I was like, what is it? Pachinko. You believe that? That's the most rated or highest rated any Apple Plus TV series. It says right here, Pachinko is 87. Ted Lasso is only a 77. Severance is an 83. Silo is a 75. So those are the top kind of ever rated, I guess, by whatever. Metacritic ratings, I guess that's what they're using here. So who knows if the other ratings are the same. But overall, Pachinko. And if you go down here, look, obviously it looks like it's somewhere in Japan with the Pachinko company. I don't know anything about it, but it looks like it's obviously taking place in Japan with Pachinko type place where you can play those games, the balls come down. If you watch this, tell me if it's worth me watching it. I want real user opinions on it because I've never heard of it before. Have you? Okay, as part of the news, I like to talk about some new Apple products as well. This one happens not to be an Apple product, but it is a good product because I've used their keyboards before. I'm hoping this one's good. But anyways, if you don't want to spend like $100 on a keyboard like an Apple keyboard, take a look over here. Keychron launches ultra slim keyboards for Mac. 1,200 hour battery life, USB-C 2.4 gigahertz wireless, all right? So Keychron, just to give you an example here really quickly, they make like all these mechanical keyboards. And if you look in here, this is the Amazon. I'll have a link to the Amazon page. Long story short, though, you go into here. There's all these different ones, like $104. But if you look at the reviews of all of them, and I've reviewed a few in the past and stuff, they're really good. Keychron makes really good keyboards. Like this one, the Keychron K3 is like known for being used on a Mac if you want a mechanical keyboard. So long story short, I'll go back here. One story here. The best thing about this is actually, maybe I should go back, but the best thing about this is the price of them. Look at this. It's amazing. There's slim keyboards. This one's on Keychron's website right now. It's called the B1. $39 right here. So it mimics kind of the small Apple slim keyboard. $39. Can you believe that? That's a great price on it. I thought they'd be much more. Their other mechanical keyboards are more. And the next one that's a lot bigger, only $44. This is called the Keychron B6 Pro Ultra Slim wireless keyboard. So 1,200 hours, you get both of these keyboards in the ultra slim kind of configuration, just like your Mac keyboard, like my iMac keyboard right here, but way, way cheaper, a third the cost. Check them out. They're a great company. I'm going to hope to get some of these in to actually put my hands on and review, but I'm guessing these are really good. All right, so if you watch my channel, you know that kind of last week when I did this exact kind of video, I talked about iPhone Ultras coming out, the iPhone 17 Ultra and other Ultra products that Apple would maybe sell. So they asked a bunch of people, would you pay for it? And I was like, there's no way I'm paying more than, I'm not going to pay more than $1,200 for a smartphone. I'm not crazy. Anyways, I was wrong. People are crazy. So if you look down here, here's kind of, well, actually, this is from 95Mac. Huge majority of surveyed readers willing to pay a premium for an iPhone 17. Again, not me. These people are crazy. So I go down here. It says if the phone was basically thinner, aluminum chassis, 6.55 inch, smaller pill shape cutout, rear cameras moved to the top and center of the device, an A19 chip, improved front-facing camera, starting price. So if that all was included, what would people pay? So we went down here and it says $1,350. 30% would pay $1,500. Almost 20% of the people would pay $1,500. $1,750. Almost 5% of people would pay $2,000, 3% or 4% of people, over $2,000. People are crazy. 5% of people. I mean, does that make people have trust funds in this country? I don't understand where people are getting this money at. It's over $2,000 for a phone. What advantages are you getting? I mean, just because you can maybe use it as bling or something? I have no idea. You tell me, what is the top cost you're willing to pay for a phone? And I know I have like a little bit of an older crowd that watches me, so I'm guessing you're a little bit smarter here. You tell me. All right. You know me, I like to keep things kind of light and stuff, but overall, I just scratch my head sometimes. So there's a whole story. Can you imagine this? This is from 95Mac. There's a guy here writing this story, Felipe Espinoza or something like that, Esposito. Anyways, he's over here. He says, Apple might change the orientation of its logo on the back of future iPads. So I guess they asked this lady that works at Apple, and she said, well, it's a possibility because more people now use it this way instead of this way, right? That became a huge story. It's all over the news. People are talking about it, including me. I'm pretty dumb myself for doing it. But I guess this is a big story in the world today with all the things going on, whether the logo is this way or that way. Do you really care? I mean, would you even have noticed? I don't even know if I would notice, and that's what's so funny about this. All right. So again, I hope you guys I'm trying to keep things fun and light here. So I'm kind of doing a lot of these kind of weird stories where I kind of are cynical and stuff, but that's just kind of fun for me. So over here, AI, Apple Insider says, how not to get taken for $1,000 by Apple Pay scammers. Well, I'll tell you one thing. Don't use Apple Pay. That's the number one way to do it, right? Right? So anyways, in here it says, somewhere in here it says, there's a video here, a viral video of Hannah talks about how she was shopping at Target when two young men approached her selling candy. My first word of advice, anyone selling candy out of a box or something, just stay away from them. It's usually a scam, all right? That's number one. Then it says, she said Christian community and, whatever, that's fine, I understand. Hannah decided to buy $10 worth of chocolate. So she reached out her phone, and they reached out their phone, it says right away, and tapped it accidentally. They initiated it. And she noticed that it was like a $975 charge. Well, the funny thing is Hannah asked for a receipt when the boys began immediately apologizing. Apparently, they had accidentally charged her the $975. And this is the problem right now with the world. These young people, at this point, I still wanted to believe him because he seemed very apologetic. It says, and I was very naive. Hannah says, she had a very long day and she didn't want to have to deal with it. So long story short, it took her like a month and a half to get her money back, and she almost didn't, and they almost stole all the money. It's just kind of a crazy story, but at the end of the day, this is pretty dangerous. They're saying if you have this, anyone gets in your, like if you're doing through Ticketmaster or things in fast action lines, people sometimes are waiting and they're constantly bringing their phone up to yours, and they can actually siphon money out. So my advice to you is just don't use it. Reach into your pocket, take out a credit card, swipe it, and put it back, and it's just as easy. I'm telling you, it just is. Okay, so we got a good sale here. You know me, I like to buy some older stuff to save some money. So over here on Amazon right now, we got the iPad Air 5th generation with the M1 chip, $549.99, 27% off, usually $749, right? I think this is a sale I talked about a week or two ago, but it's still ongoing. So if you want to pick these up, this thing is going to be fast enough for everything you do in the world, all right? You don't need an M4 or M3 or M2. Well, this one only come with an M2 on the Air, but still, you don't need the M2. The M1's so fast on an iPad. So pick this up, $549. It's a great deal at Amazon. I'll have a link in the description. All right, so we got a news story here. I think I should call this channel the annoying Apple news because it's kind of going that way this week, right? Isn't it a little bit? Anyways, hope you guys like it. So it says over here, Apple Insider, MacBook Pro with OLED arrival rumor shifts again, this time back to 2026. From 2025 now to 2026, no OLEDs on any MacBooks or MacBook Pros. Why is this, all right? It looks like Apple itself is buying up kind of the entire lot of them for their iPads and for a lot of their other devices. And why did they do that? Because they sell more of them. That's why. So they end up selling more iPads and more iPhones, and they, basically use all the lots of these screens. And they don't really have any room, or they don't want to get involved right now in the MacBooks. It's going to come in a year or two. This is the problem. So I wish they would have this. Everyone I think is waiting for this. My only concern with this, especially on the phone, I guess the phones and stuff, is just the burn-in stuff. I don't want to deal with burn-in because the screens are really good enough as they are. If they're a little bit better, I'll take them. But if I have to deal with some kind of burn-in or something long-term, I don't want them. But you guys tell me, is this too long to wait, or are you guys just going to wait patiently for this 2026? All right, in this channel, we always like to look at some new Apple stores that open just because they're kind of cool in a lot of cases. Over here, take a look. Here's one that's opening. Take a look at this thing. Look how cool this is. This is an Apple store that they just built or just finished. I'm not sure it's even open yet, but it looks kind of like a pyramid here. Now, the one thing that you got to note here, look how cool that is. It's a really cool building, right? But the one thing you want to note is none of us will probably ever see it. If you are from this country, tell me. This is going to be opening in Malaysia. So I don't think I'm ever going to get to Malaysia in my life. It's possible maybe, but if you're watching from Malaysia, post in the comments. I'll be shocked, actually. I know we get people from all over the world, but Malaysia is kind of one of those countries where I haven't heard anyone yet. But that's a cool looking place, right? Anyways, another Apple store opened up. And I can tell you one thing. I have one down the street from me. It does not look anything like that. Okay, so for this next one, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, actually. This is actually a good news article because Apple, they were losing sales in China on their iPhones, which is a big thing because it makes up a big percentage. We'll get into that. Apple Insider here says Apple saw a huge year-over-year iPhone sales recovery in April in China. So if you look down here, it says the latest round of data is for April. It says that, which is mostly the iPhone, increased by 52% in April year over year from 2.3 million sales in April 2023 to 3.5 in 2024. So they actually went from, 52% increase in this month. And that's actually good news because it looks like over here in January and February, iPhone sales fell about 37%. So the first couple months, they fell 37%. Now they're up 54%. So I guess it all evens out. The crazy thing down here is it says China accounts for between 17% and 20% of all of Apple's iPhone sales every quarter. You can see how important that is. Therein lies the issue that Apple's always kind of scratching China's back, right? They're slowly moving stuff out, but they can't do it too quickly because they can't lose 20% of their profit margin on their most best-selling product. Here's the dilemma. But anyways, I thought it was an interesting article. Okay, so the next one over here, I think this is good news, right? It's actually fun, not good news, fun. Here it is, Apple Insider. This Lego Apple Store model needs votes for a slim chance at getting made. Take a look at this. The Lego Apple Store has surfaced on Reddit, and its creator hopes to get enough votes to make it into the official Lego store. So this guy made this Apple Store out of Legos just by himself. It's not like a real case or a set or anything like that. You can see down here inside of it, he's got all the computers in here and like the upstairs and the downstairs. The set itself is impressive and boasts a number of Apple-related Easter eggs, including an iMac G3, AirPods, iPod, and even the Apple Vision Pro in there. So kind of cool, right? Again, tell me in the comments, are you guys the people that sit here for hours and build these things out? I'm just not one of them. I mean, I know it can be fun. I know people build Porsches and everything out of Legos and all these crazy things, ships and everything else. Is this something you'd be interested in? I mean, maybe in the back over here is like, I might get that just to have in the back here is kind of a conversation piece, right? So depending on the cost of it, I guess I could be turned into one of them. Okay, the next story could be a big one for you if you actually do use Apple phone and you have a carrier that you're using. So over here it says 9 to 5 Mac, T-Mobile buying U.S. Cellular says rural coverage will improve. So this is actually huge news. I actually have T-Mobile. This is T-Mobile. So T-Mobile, I think, bought Sprint a while ago. And it's saying in the morning announced that T-Mobile is buying them for a deal worth about $4.4 billion. And it's saying that it's going to basically expand their satellite or whatever you want to call them out into like the rural regions of the United States. You're going to get better quality out there. But now they're adding a lot of different coverage here, a lot of different provider space, I guess, that's out there on the antennas and everything else. So it's going to make your coverage way better. So if you've been part of like the AT&T breach or you're getting worse service from AT&T, worse service from Verizon, I have really good stuff with T-Mobile. I actually use Mint Mobile, and they actually are like super cheap, and they use T-Mobile, I believe, as their carrier. Nothing but success for me. I don't know where you live, but definitely test it out. It's actually a good carrier. Okay, we showcased this a little while ago, but I still want to hold, I'm going to show people this again just in case you didn't watch that video. So if you want to get into the Mac ecosystem, people always ask me, like, what's the worst Mac I should buy? Should I buy the Intel ones? Or if I want to just start getting into it for the first time, but just doing very, very basic stuff like emails and stuff like that, here's the one right here. Amazon, I'll have a link to it. Mac Mini M1, 8 gigs, 256, the base model, $389 right here. It's a refurbished model, but I read the ratings and they're coming in basically almost, they're perfect basically. $389 for a computer with Apple ecosystem with the Apple OS, Mac OS on it. You can't go wrong here. Use it as whatever you want to use it for. This is the one you want to buy minimum, I guess. But you need a screen, obviously. So if you have a screen, but you probably do if you're coming from Windows and stuff. So check it out. Okay, I lied one last time. The last article we have here, I'm going to have to take a sip for this. It's AI as well, so I lied again. Anyways, we have to deal with that. Here it is, 9 to 5 Mac. You might need Apple's latest iPhone 15 Pro to use all of the AI features built into iOS 18. Leaves us all scratching our head here, right? It says, in a little week's time, Apple will unveil the iOS 18 and other operating systems with a heavily focus on AI features, all right? So somewhere down here, I don't know, that would mean that, to use every iPhone, iOS 18 feature, I can't speak, customers would be expected to own the latest high-end Pro phones with the A17 chip. Note that the cheaper iPhone 15 and 15 Plus released last fall are powered by the older A16 chip. Again, I think this is coming, let me see in here, I think it's coming from like Mark Gurman or someone. I can't find, Mark Gurman writes that it may be upcoming on device. So long story short, there's a possibility that even though all these features are coming out, unless you have those newest and greatest phones, you won't even be able to use a lot of them. This is something that's, again, scratch my head with because I think that they should allow it. The article goes on to say that with the Macs, it goes back to the M1 Mac. Anything older than that probably wouldn't be able to use a lot of it as well. So you tell me if that's good news or bad news because it makes people, I guess, finally upgrade. But the iPhone 15, that's kind of crazy. That's a brand new phone. Okay, so we're going to wrap this up. Longboard Island Lager and all, right? If you guys like these videos, definitely comment, post, do everything you can. I want to try to make this a live show. Starting to get my views up on this. I want to make it bigger, right? I want to have guests. I want to do a whole bunch more. But again, I do a lot of videos per week, so I can't spend a ton of time yet on this. But if I get the views, I will. Cheers, and if you're drinking coffee or whatever you want to have, definitely take a sip for me, and we'll talk to you in the next one. We do these, like I said, either Friday or Saturday or sometimes Sunday every weekend, and I have a whole bunch of other videos in between there for reviews and products. So we'll talk to everybody soon. Peace.